Right, hi, welcome to www.cookiepuppy.com or www.HECookery.com. It's the same. Right, so on this session we're going to be making spicy meatballs. So if you like a bit of Italiano and a bit of sort of like Eastern, you like a bit of spice, a bit of combination between the two. We're going to start with an onion. Well, first thing, always remember what I've got. Got some soapy water, hot soapy water. So first thing is to give your hands a good wash. Like that. It's always worth mentioning, but you do get the hygiene video on the front of each session if you buy it individually. Right, so then you select a good little knife, like a little veg knife like that. So I've got a good little veg knife. I'm going to be selling these on the internet. I've got a few mixed herbs there, just dried mixed herbs, like that. You don't need much of that. And we've got a chilli, like that, so that's just a finger chilli. Cut the top off, like that, and then just cut it down, straight down the middle, like that. Now if you want it quite spicy, leave the seeds in, and then just keep your thumb back when you're slicing it, like that, and just trim it up. So I'm going to leave the seeds in this one, and just cut it up like that. It's quite a fast thing, this meatballs, but it's going to be meatballs, tomato sauce and pasta. So it's going to be a lovely meal, and you'll see when we put it all together how easy it is. So you can chop the chilies up finer than that if you want, but I think that's okay like that. So put them in there. We'll save a few for the sauce as well, so we'll just leave a few there for the sauce, because we'll have a spicy tomato sauce and spicy meatballs. How about that? It's probably a bit better. So remember, buy by the weight, waste by the weight. So trim the onion up like that, and you trim it up very, very tightly. You know, you're better off getting a bit of a container, like a rubbish container, just to put your bits in, like that, instead of putting it on the bench. Keeps things tidy. So we'll just trim that off like that. Put the knife the wrong way around then. So that's it. So we're left with the onion like that, and about 3 cloves of garlic. So that's a full little garlic like that. I peel them like an onion. You can squash them on the board, but like I say, a lot of the juice goes into the board. I don't really like that. I'd rather just chop them up as they are. So like a little baby onion like that. Remember the benefits of garlic. Garlic is really, really good for you. It's like medicine. Treat some of these things not just as ingredients. Treat them like medicine. You know, it's really good for your heart and everything. Garlic. It's good for your blood. It's good for your heart. It's healthy. I know I'm not going to make any rhymes up for all them people out there that are thinking of some little rhymes there. They're not beans. Right, so like that. Nice and easy. And that's it. So that's the preparation pretty much done. Apart from a little bit of parsley, which I've got some cheaper bit of parsley that's left. All I'm going to do, I'll just give it a bit of a rinse before. I'm just going to hack it up like that, with a bit of the stalk as well. Because remember, a lot of people throw all the stalks away, but you're buying these stalks, and remember to get them flowers, to get them leaves, everything comes up through the stalks. There's a lot of vitamins in them stalks, and you've paid a lot of money for it. So chop that up as well, because I don't see the point in wasting all that. Right, so I'm just going to put that there. That goes into the bowl, like that. The garlic, just cut it in half, nice and simple, nice and thin, like that. And we'll put 2 in the meatballs, like that, and we'll have 2 in the sauce. So like that. So we'll leave that bit for the sauce. And we're going to have that bit for the meatballs. So that goes in there, the garlic's in there now. We've got the chilies in there. We've got parsley in there, we've got dried mixed herbs in there. So what we want now is a bit of ground mixed spice. Now that's what that is there. If you have a look at that, it's just ground mixed spice from Tesco's, just a tub like that. Tends to be a bit cheaper if you buy it like that. It's just a value sort of mix. So in that, we might as well put the mint in. So I've bought a slightly better grade of mint rather than just a plain value one. I bought the next one up. If you look at the mint, the quality of the mint, it's nice and red like that. The value one's okay for meatballs because I'm going to show you why in a bit. So put it all in there like that. So there goes the mince. Remember, these trays you can use to grow seeds in, so they're great for growing seeds. You know, like starting bedding plants off and vegetable seeds if you want to grow pumpkins or anything like that. So then what we do is a little bit of salt, not too much. The salt's not brilliant. A little bit of pepper, like that, and then we're going to finely chop this onion. A little bit of the onion I'm going to save for the sauce as well. So like that. Keep your thumb back when you're doing it. Just go the other way like that. Nice and fine. You don't have to cut in and all that sort of thing because remember the onion's layers, and we're just going to hack it around like that. And as long as you get the stem bit very, very fine, I'm going to put that in as well. I don't like to use the ends normally, but in the meatballs, you'll just lose it. So like that. All that's gone in there. Same with that one. Some of that's for the sauce. We'll just put that back down there. We don't need that one now. And again, that can go in the meatballs. Don't matter if it's a bit chunky. It's not a problem. So that's it, nice and fine there. Right, lovely that. So that's in there. So let's put that back on there now, like that. And what we're going to do is, I'll just give my hands a rinse because when I've handled the raw meat, I'll just keep rinsing my hands. I'm just going to get a couple of pieces of bread now to make the breadcrumbs. Now I just use fresh bread, just cheap bread like that. You can use brown bread. Try and use it when it's going past its best. And the light's just flicked there, so I'm just going to move the light back a bit. Like that. Every now and then you get these little things, little disruptions, as I call them. Right. Right, I think it's okay now. So we'll come back to it. So, sorry about that, a sec. It is real, it's not a TV thing, studio or anything like that. We're just doing it from home, as it is normal, like that. So I'm just going to roll my sleeves up now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate this bread in. So I've got a grater here, like that. I'm just going to rough grate it, so you can see the fresh breadcrumbs. Now remember to not grate your fingers. That's the thing you've got to be careful of when you're doing this. It's easy for people to start grating the fingers and getting half the fingers in there in the meatballs. You don't really want that. But you can see all the breadcrumbs going in there, which is great. Now the breadcrumbs, if you haven't got a lot of money and you're doing quite a big family, the breadcrumbs will bulk it out, and so will the onions. So you can put more onions in if you want less mince, and you can put more breadcrumbs in, and that will bulk it out good. So that's great, that. Now we're left with a bit of crust, like that. So a little bit of crust there, like that. Just pull the big bits of crust out, that's fine. So what you do then, is you just mix it up. Just turn it all over, mix it all up. And make sure you get an even sort of distribution of the chilies and the onion. The last thing you want to do is get all the chilies in one place, or all the onion in one place, so really sort of work it all in like that. Now that's really easy, that. Now the oven's just come to temperature. I put the oven on about 180, which is brilliant. That's it, I've really worked all that in there now. So there we go, so that's ready. Right, so I'm just going to move the board back a little bit like that. And we'll put that there. And we've got a nice little tray here. So what we'll do is we'll make nice little meatballs, small golf ball sort of size like that, which is perfect, that sort of size like that. You don't need to grease the tray, you can do that if you want. That's more than enough. And you just keep doing that, like that, until we've got quite a few meatballs. Now you're going to get at least 4 portions. 2 sizable meatballs there, each is plenty. If you've got a few left, then great. Now you can have them the next day. Remember, if you're going to chill anything on the side, have it on the side for up to an hour, and then you can put it in the fridge. It's a little bit big, that. Try and get them the same size so they all cook at the same rate. See, because I'm doing it in the house, the videoing, you will get the odd little thing like the phone might ring. But if the phone rings, just don't answer it. You know, if the dog barks, don't worry. It's not the end of the world, you know. This is just aimed at the average city, town people that have got the kind of money that that I'm spending, which isn't a lot on these. I want you to learn how to economise, but how to get the most out of your meals. And by doing this kind of thing when I'm showing you, you're going to do quite well. I've bought the onions in a sack because they're a bit more bulky. So what I'll do, I'll press all that together, I'll just add that little bit there. So another one. Probably that first one I did was a bit small. So what have we got here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 1 extra meatball. So someone in the family might be a little bit more hungry than everybody else, which should be fine. So perfect. So keep them all apart like that, so they don't touch each other, so they can cook all the way around, and give your hands a wash again in that nice hot soapy water. So there we go again. Make sure your tea towels are clean as well. That's something, because if your tea towels are dirty, you can harbour a lot of bacteria. So they're going to take about 15 minutes now. Now while they're in the oven for the 15 minutes, I'm going to put some pasta on. So people always say to me, how much water, so how much pasta? Well, what I do is I go about 3 times the water to the pasta. So you can see there I've 3/4 filled that. And I'm going to sort of like put about 1/3 pasta in there, which roughly for a family is about 2 mugs full, something like that. This is a kind of cooker, it's a hob. I don't often do this, I normally cook everything on there, but I'm going to do the sauce on the multi-pan. So, because it's just pasta, instead of cleaning it all away quick, I'm just showing you. So, you get the spark on like that, put it on a medium light, and then we'll put the pasta straight in, like that. I know you're supposed to let it boil, but I'll just put it straight in. So there'll be about 2 mugs going in there now, for pasta. So roughly that's about 2 mugs worth. Now the type of pasta I'm using is called pasta twists, like that, but you can use conicelli, you can use penny pasta, whichever you like. You can use spaghetti. A lot of people like having spaghetti. There's so many different types of pasta, but many of the pastas are made from the same pasta dough, so it's just up to yourself really. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get all these bits, we're going to throw them all in there like that. And we're going to make a tomato sauce. I mean, I'm using the same bowl here, but if you're vegetarian, you know, just don't have the meat. So there's a little bit of water. Let's turn it on. So that's it. So that's on. That's how easy that is. Now, to get a bit of flavour in the sauce, we need some stock cubes. So I just buy these. You know, you can use beef ones, or I just use chicken ones or veg ones. Whichever you want. If you're vegetarian, remember, just stick with the vegetarian and just sort of crumble it like this. Just sort of squeeze it. You know, if you want. If not, just put it in whole. It'll just dissolve. This type will just dissolve anyway. So in it goes, like that. And then we're going to use a small tin of tomato puree, because remember, as I've said before, if you buy the tube it's much dearer, and if you buy a brand it's much dearer. And that's just a Tesco's own tomato puree, so that's just going to go in there as well. So I'm going to use the whole thing, because that gives it a really sort of rich red colour, but also a nice tomatoey, sweet sort of flavour. And that combined with the chilies, It'll give it a nice spicy flavour. So that'll be lovely, that. So remember what I said before about the rubbish. Let's get all the bits of rubbish like that. Try and keep your area tidy. Put the bits in there like that. That's it. That can go back over there. Now, that's it. Let's just move that a minute. Right, so that can go back there. Right, so what we need to do now is add some tin tomatoes. Now, you can put them into a bowl, but what I tend to do is just break them up like that. I actually like a coarse tomato sauce. These sort of fine blended tomato sauce and that sort of thing isn't really what I prefer. You know, I prefer one that's got chunks in it. You know, like bits of chilli and bits of onion in it, like that. If you want to get it fine, blend it just with a hand blender. You can easily get hold of them. My website will probably end up having things like that on before long. But you can get them from most stores. You know, they're not too expensive, and they're an absolutely brilliant thing to have. But remember, if you're blending everything, you can literally sort of put a lot of wind in your food, and you know, you'll be trumping away all night and wondering why. And a lot of the time, you put a bit of air in your food. So we've done that. That can go back in the rubbish bin. All that'll go in the bin in a bit. We'll put that in there. We've got a nice plastic stirrer like that. Remember, it's plastic or wood. I've got a wooden spoon there. So I'm just going to give it a little stir, just so that tomato puree just sort of blends in like that, and the stock cubes. Just give my hands a rinse again in there, like that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to knock a little bit of flour and water thickener in a cup, which I could actually show you that now. I might as well. Just get a little bit of cold water. A little bit of cold water like that. A bit of plain flour. This is just to make the consistency right of the sauce, that's all. I don't want you making a roux for this, because I don't see any need to make a roux with all that fat. There's no need for doing that. And all you do is just mix it up like that, and that will thicken that sauce up in a bit. I mean, that will reduce quite a bit anyway and go quite thick. You can see yourselves it's not that thin, but the consistency is not right there. So what we're going to do, we're going to let that simmer away for about 10-15 minutes. We're going to let the pasta cook. That'll be 10 to 15 minutes. And you can come back in about 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll thicken the sauce, we'll get everything out, put it all back together, and we'll get the meatballs out of the oven, and everything will be spot on. So I'll see you back in about 10 minutes. Right, so about 10 minutes has gone by. That's bubbling away there. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to have that little bit of thickener. You can see it's thickening it straight away. That's just to have the get the consistency right of the sauce. So just a little bit. That's it. That sauce is looking good now. That's plenty of that. So that's just that whisked up flour and water. So we'll give that a couple of minutes just to cook out. That's lovely. That spot on. And I've got the plastic whisk just so we don't damage the thing, the multi-pan. Right, so the pasta's cooked, which is fantastic. So you can strain it off like that into a sieve. I'm going to have sieves on the website, but I'd use a metal sieve, especially if you're in industry. It's a lot better. But I'm at home. A lot of you probably have something like this. So we'll have a bit of pasta on there like that. Bit of pasta on that one. Same again. Like that. And again. And I'm just going to turn this sauce off now, because that's bang on now. Just turn it that way. And some pasta there. Some more pasta on that one. And just that last bit that's left. And if you'll see now that probably about 2 mugs of pasta is just about enough. Absolutely perfect. So all I'm going to do there is I'm just going to make a little well in the middle like that. Like that. Now that's 4 good portions. Put that in there. Now comes the meatballs. There's my towel. The meatballs are lovely and juicy, like that. Absolutely perfecto. Look at that. Now they've been in about 15 minutes. As you can see, 2 good portions. Now you want them cooked to about 80 degrees, so there will be that in the middle easily. So they'll be beautiful then. Absolutely beautiful. Spicy meatballs. I think I'm going to eat that big one there, that big fat one. And because I've got a teenage lad, I'll let him have the other meatball. Or I'll let my mate have it. Right, there'll be one of them though. Right, so that's a spare one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get the sauce on. Like this. Just chuck multi-pan. Like that, look at that. Absolutely beautiful that. Now I'm always a big believer in colour being fantastic. Plenty of sauce on there. Absolutely fantastic that. Right, a little bit more. Now, because I said about the colour, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little sprig of parsley on each one. And remember, this is www.HECookerypuppy.com, and that is your spicy meatballs, beef meatballs with fusilli pasta and a nice spicy tomato sauce. How good does that look? Does that look a decent sized portion? I'd say spot on. And that is going to be my tea now. I'm starving. This isn't all just for show. It's going to be it. You know, the family's going to be in. They're going to, you know, they eat a lot from all the programs, from all the things that I do. There's 100 sessions. There's 10 courses. There's lots going on all the courses. So many different meals. Please keep coming back to www.HECookery.com or www.cookiepuppy.com, and that's COOKYPUPPY.com. Thank you very much.